In the annals of military history, there are stories of heroism so profound that they defy belief. Stories of men who, despite overwhelming odds, displayed unparalleled courage and self-sacrifice. One such story is that of Rawdon Hume Middleton, an Australian bomber pilot whose valiant final mission earned him the highest award for gallantry in the face of the enemy, the Victoria Cross. This is the incredible tale of a young man who gave everything to bring his crew home, even at the cost of his own life. Born on July 22, 1916 in Waverley, Sydney, Ron Middleton was the son of Francis Rawdon Middleton and Faith Lillian Miller. Raised in the rural landscape of New South Wales, his early years were spent on large pastoral properties managed by his father. He was an active and athletic young man, excelling in cricket, rugby and tennis, and attended Dubbo High School. After completing his education, he worked as a jackaroo on a station near Parkes, gaining first-hand experience of hard work and discipline, traits that would serve him well in the years to come. Middleton enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on October 14, 1940, under the Empire Air Training Scheme. His training began at No. 5 Elementary Flying Training School in Narromine, Australia, before advancing to further flight instruction in Canada. And by September 1941, he had arrived in Britain, and by December 1941, he was promoted to sergeant and posted to RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk, England, assigned to No. 149 Squadron of the Royal Air Force, where he would soon begin operational sorties. Flying the short Stirling bomber, Middleton was entrusted with one of the RAF's earliest four-engined heavy bombers. Designed by Short Brothers and introduced into service in early 1941, the Stirling was praised for its agility and the ability to outturn enemy night fighters. However, due to an Air Ministry restriction on its wingspan to 100 feet, it had a limited operational ceiling, making it more vulnerable to flak and enemy fighters. It was powered by 4 Bristol Hercules radial engines, had a top speed of 282 miles per hour and a range of 2,330 miles, and could carry up to 14,000 pounds of bombs. Despite its flaws, the Stirling played a vital role in the RAF's early strategic bombing campaigns, before it was gradually replaced by the more capable Avro Lancaster and Handley Page Halifax. Middleton initially served as a second pilot before being promoted to aircraft captain in July of 1942. He and his crew carried out numerous bombing missions deep into enemy territory, over places such as Duisburg, Brussels, Hamburg and Munich. In October of 1942 he was promoted to flight sergeant and continued his relentless schedule of bombing sorties. By late November 1942 he had completed 28 operational sorties, and was now just 2 missions shy of the 30 required to complete his tour and be rotated off combat operations. On the night of November 28, 1942, Middleton was assigned his 29th mission, a daring raid on the Fiat aircraft works in Turin, Italy. The mission involved 7 aircraft from 149 Squadron that were temporarily detached to nearby RAF Lakenheath. Middleton was joined on his aircraft by second pilot Flight Sergeant Hyder, navigator Pilot Officer Royd, wireless operator Pilot Officer Skinner, mid-upper gunner Flight Sergeant Cameron, front gunner Sergeant Mackey and rear gunner Sergeant Goff, and flight engineer Sergeant Jeffrey. With good weather, Middleton lifted his Stirling from the runway at 18:14 and set a course for Italy. The flight began uneventfully enough, but navigating across the Alps had to be conducted at lower than ideal altitudes due to the fully bombed and fully fuelled aircraft, coupled with the operational limitations of the Stirling's short wingspan. Over the target, worsening weather and haze obscured the Fiat works, forcing the bombers to make 3 passes for accurate target identification. Throughout these passes over the target area, the anti-aircraft fire was relentless, and during the 3rd pass, the aircraft was struck by a shell in the cockpit. Middleton suffered serious injuries, his right eye destroyed, his jaw shattered, his body riddled with shrapnel. Despite his catastrophic condition, he refused to relinquish control. Momentarily losing consciousness, the bomber plunged earthward. At 800 feet, Middleton regained consciousness and, together with the also severely wounded Flight Sergeant Hyder, regained control and released their bomb load on target. The aircraft, now heavily damaged, began the long flight back. In excruciating pain, barely conscious, and breathing with great difficulty, Middleton made a decision that would define his legacy. He refused to divert to neutral territory or bail out over occupied territory. So for 4 hours, he piloted the crippled Stirling back to England, repeatedly assuring his crew, "I'll make the English coast. I'll get you home." Crossing the English Channel and with only minutes of fuel remaining, Middleton turned the aircraft parallel with the coastline and ordered his crew to bail out. 5 parachuted to safety. The last 2, Sergeant Mackey and Sergeant Jeffrey, hesitated, hoping to convince Middleton to attempt a crash landing. Middleton, barely clinging to life, steered the Stirling away from populated areas and out over the English Channel. Mackey and Jeffrey eventually bailed out, but tragically did not survive the freezing waters. Middleton, too weak to escape, remained at the controls as the Stirling plunged into the sea off Dymchurch in the early hours of November 29, 1942. He was killed instantly. His body was later washed ashore at Shakespeare Beach, Dover, in February of 1943. He was laid to rest with full military honours in St John's Churchyard, Beck Row in Suffolk, his final resting place a solemn tribute to an extraordinary act of courage. For his exceptional bravery and self-sacrifice, Rawdon Middleton was posthumously promoted to pilot officer and awarded the Victoria Cross, the first member of the Royal Australian Air Force to receive the honour during World War II. His citation praised his devotion to duty in the face of overwhelming odds, calling it unsurpassed in the annals of the Royal Air Force. Middleton's legacy endures across Australia and the United Kingdom. His Victoria Cross and uniform were preserved at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra. Streets, schools and memorials bear his name, including the Middleton VC Club at Royal Australian Air Force Base Wagga, the Dining Hall at RAF Mildenhall, Middleton Memorial Drive in Gilgandra and a bronze bust in Victoria Park, Dubbo. His story continues to inspire generations, a testament to the enduring spirit of a young man who, in the darkest of hours, chose duty, loyalty and sacrifice above all else. Thanks very much for watching. Please take a moment to hit the like button and consider subscribing.